All right, welcome to another edition of It's a Whiskey Kind of Day. My name is Don Amiche, as you know, my good friend Gabe, all the way out in Dallas, Texas. We got a great show for you
Oh,
today. How you doing, man?
man, I am cold. It is a cold, cold day in Dallas, man. This is weird. Just like snowstorm type of stuff.
I hit you earlier this week. I saw like it's really bad out there. There was a massive pileup on the Fort Worth freeway, or in the freeway in Fort Worth, where I mean it was it was real bad, like FedEx trucks and all kind of other stuff that was happening out there, right?
Right, man. Prayers go out to all the people that lost their lives yesterday. I-35 going into Fort Worth, I guess one of the overpass bridges iced over, and early in the morning around 6:30 a.m., man, it was just a massive pileup. I think by the time they was able to, kind of stop traffic and minimize the continued damage, it was over 100 vehicles involved in the accident. Um, so, geez, man, it's definitely one of those things, man. Just praying for these folks, man.
Well, we've got an exciting show today because we're going to be talking with one of the co-founders of the brand that you representing in Dallas right now. You're on the mobile end,
Yeah.
but this is the guy, and he just popped on here. We can bring him in. His name is Carlton Brown. Yep.
Let me ask you real quick. Are you live on social media?
I am live, but there's something wrong with your stream, but it's on my Facebook page and it's on your YouTube page. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. So we are live.
No worries. I just go ahead and just share what you're going. Yeah, man. Yeah. But listen, Carl is an amazing guy. He's one of those guys that he works silently in the background, always working, always doing something fantastic, keeping the thing moving forward. And he's not someone that just, looks for the attention or anything like that. Not saying that anybody does, but he's just one of those people. He just do. And he just keeps doing and keeps pushing forward, man. And it's great to be a part of this brand in this small capacity. And I'm excited to have him on today and just really, really pick his brain on some of the great things that they've done, some of the great things that they're doing, and, just be a part of everything that they're doing moving forward.
Well, let's go ahead and bring Mr. Carlton Brown in here, one of the co-founders of FUBU. How are you doing, sir? Can you hear us loud and clear from New York?
I can hear you well. 1 2 1 2. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Man, I've been so excited to have you on the show and to talk to you because one of the big questions that I really wanted to ask you was about the FUBU brand and how do you take a traditional brand and expand it into different areas that it's not necessarily known for. FUBU started out as a clothing company, and then there was a record company and a couple other things. But now you're taking the brand and moving it into the hotels aspect of the world. Gabe is doing the mobile aspect of the world, and I just want to know how do you do that successfully? Expand a brand that's kind of known for its clothing, also culture, being part of hip hop and Black culture, and move it into something like the hospitality realm.
Right. Well, I mean, it's simple and it's hard. But the simple answer is if you look at a lot of companies, they didn't start off the way they are now. And I'm talking about major Fortune 500 companies. And we knew that once we thought of the name for us by us, FUBU, we knew it was bigger than clothing. We knew that meaning stood for a lot of things outside of just fashion. So our plan from the beginning was to expand the brand into other avenues, and it just took time for us to get to that point. So we, like you said, we started off in music, and we will continue with that. We got FUBU Radio. We have For Us By Us television that's developing now. And as you mentioned, we have Hotel FUBU, which would consist of hotels and affordable housing. So there's a lot of things that we're doing that, it's been a 20-year process, but we've always thought that this brand could take those different steps, at least in the long term.
Wow. So how is Hotel FUBU doing right now?
It's doing great. I mean, we were in the development stage, but as you know, this whole COVID situation kind of shut the hospitality business down. So that kind of obviously that put our plans back, but we intend to push forward once we feel that the economy is ready to accept that kind of project.
So Gabe's got the mobile store. Were you instrumental in putting the FUBU mobile together, or like how is this all under the same umbrella? Or
yeah, this is all everything under FUBU is under the FUBU umbrella. I mean, obviously, there's different people handling different divisions, but we were brought with the opportunity, and we thought it'd be a great idea because we know that you know, be it cell phones or computers or technology, is something that we as a community have to be involved with, you know, not just as a consumer, but from the back end. So we thought it'd be a great idea, a great concept, and we're just supporting, you know, the team as they move forward.
so it always happens. It always happens while we're doing the show. Somebody ends up calling me. So let me ask you a question. When starting the FUBU brand, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys had to go through? Because I know I read an interview that you did where you said there was no business plan, there was no structure. It was just you guys were just putting it out there.
Yeah, there was no plan. You know what I mean? And I don't advise that, but where we're coming from, you know, we just went off of. You got to remember, we were kids at the time. I mean, kids in our mid-20s. And we really felt that we wanted to be involved in this hip hop community. I couldn't rap, I couldn't sing, Damon couldn't either. So we tried to figure out a way that we could be involved in this thing that didn't have to do with being on stage. And once we figured out that fashion was something that was working for us, selling T-shirts and selling hats, we figured out that was our opportunity to get into the business.
You know, starting out as a business owner, you come up with a brand, For Us By Us, which is dope. You come up with the designs, you start pressing them up on T-shirts. What is it like when you start seeing like the block is hot and everybody starts wanting a piece of the brand and it starts growing and becoming big? Like what is that? What is that feeling like of success and initial success with the brand?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, you never forget that first situation where we took our first T-shirts out on what we call Jamaica Avenue in Queens. And went to sell those first T-shirts and hats for someone to buy it and then come back and want something else from you. It's an amazing feeling. And that once you get the bug, it's hard to take that away. You know, it's hard to turn that off. So we just got that feeling and felt that first initial satisfaction of someone actually wanting to buy your goods, and we just took it from there.
What is it like though when you see you design T-shirts, you sell it, and then you start seeing people walking around? Like, what is that like? Like, damn.
You want to walk up to them and say thank you to everybody that you see. You know what I'm saying? But once you do that a few times, you realize people like, yo, who is this guy? You know, what are you doing? So
like, yo, that's you wearing my shirt.
Right. Yeah, you gotta tone it down, but reality is you want to thank everybody that you see that wears it, even if it's counterfeit. You know that their intentions are good, and you want to thank them personally, but sometimes it doesn't come off as good.
You know, I got a story about FUBU, about counterfeit FUBU. I thought I bought a FUBU shirt, but I had to look at it really clear. It didn't say FUBU, it said PUBU.
Yeah, something else. Yeah.
And they warped the F to make it look like FUBU, but it also was like a P, and I'm like, wow.
Don, that sounds like you wasn't wearing your glasses that day.
No, real talk, guys. Real talk. We sold a lot of goods. I'm not gonna lie. We sold a lot of goods, but half of those goods were not ours. So when you see, we always put a lot of emphasis on quality, detail. Like someone that's a real FUBU customer, if they bought our product back in the 90s, they probably still own it right now in their closet somewhere because that's how good the quality was. But once like you said, once people started counterfeiting our goods and making subpar quality, you know, that hurts the brand for sure.
So, you know, this whole show is about a whiskey kind of day, the bullshit that happens in business, and that is that is some bullshit. How do you?
That's some bullshit.
That is.
That's some bullshit.
Because I would seriously be mad of how much money I put into the brand, how much sweat equity I put into getting it out there, building it, grinding, and then here comes somebody with, maybe a downtown, clothing shop, and that's just pressing my logo up and in the back of their shop and selling it. Like, is there anything did you guys run up on some people or stop it, or you just say, hey, it's a cost doing business?
I mean, being the New York cats that we are, a lot of the bootleggers were in New York on 23rd Street in Manhattan, and our office is on 34th Street in Empire State Building. Right. So we would literally come out of our office with our boys, go down to 23rd Street, and start a ruckus. But after a few lawsuits, we had to figure out that wasn't the right way to go. You know what I mean? Because you start getting sued and you end up spending a lot of money in court. Yeah. So what we try to do is make sure that our quality was obviously different than the bullshit that they were selling.
Is there anything that you could do with like, is it just that you're going to spend too much money chasing your tail
You'll spend too much money legally chasing it. And there's I don't know if it's a fact or not, but there's a lot of brands that will, instead of keeping inventory or giving it to off sellers, they'll burn their product just so it won't be in the streets.
Wow.
And so
I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to protect your brand, because people will, you will get credit for the good stuff, but you also get credit for the bad stuff that's out there.
Yeah, that was actually part of one of our conversations at our last show. I was talking about how much quality was in the clothes. And I also just was telling people about when they come up with these business ideas to put a lot of themselves into it, that going to translate with the clothes and the quality, and how FUBU is a story where quality plus the passion of individuals into the product translated to so many people across the country and now across the world. And like you said, I can't tell you how many times people come in the store and they're like, "Oh man, I still got my FUBU jersey, man. I used to wear that Carolina blue."
Right. But you know what it is? It's every hood is the same, no matter where you at, from New Orleans to New York to LA. We all the same. We all think the same. We all feel the same. And I think that's what FUBU captured in that time frame. That we kind of just spoke for a lot of cats in the hood from wherever you at. We knew what you wanted to wear, how you wanted to feel, and we kind of captured that in our clothing.
How does it feel to see the millennial generation and the younger generations? Because I know some millennials that were geeked when they got some original FUBU gear,
right?
And it's weird because I lived through it, so I was a fan from jump. But to see their excitement over something I lived through, it's like wow. And then wanting to rock the throwback, not the new stuff, but the original stuff that came out back in the day. What is that feeling like? Seeing that and kind of this younger culture reaching back for the brand, the original stuff.
Well, from the fashion business, we understand that fashion runs in cycles. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why we focus on quality, because we knew, be it 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from now, some kid is going to pick this up and be like, yo, this is dope. You know what I mean? So we kind of made that as an investment when we made our product. So we understood that. But to see it happening, which it is happening now, it's always good to have someone recognize your work, recognize your effort, and kind of want to like give you kind of some props on what you did from the past.
Let me ask you this. Now that it's coming back, I get a lot of people that's asking the question, man, what happened to FUBU and stuff like that? And I'm always the one here in the store to kind of talk about how FUBU has never left, and how it went international and became a brand, not just here. And I just saw a post that you put up earlier today where FUBU was on the back of a bus in South Africa. So if you can kind of tell us that transition from being a US based product to going public on the stock market, now going global.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like any other. I mean, let's just take us being black guys out of this situation. It's like any other company. We from the early times we partnered up with partners in Korea, Russia, Switzerland, Afghanistan. You know, we made partnerships with many manufacturers and producers throughout the world to bring our product to the market. So I guess when FUBU was not as hot or is not as hot in the States, there were always other parts of the world that we were popping. You know, bottom line is Korea, we still have freestanding stores. We still have a lot of people wearing our goods in Philippines. So it's a lot of, as a business, we had to make those calculations early in the game because you can't be hot all the time everywhere.
Right.
So the bottom line is, we pulled out of the States purposely because we knew that our time was over here for that moment, but we also knew that it would come back. So we need to look and see when that time will be. It's like jumping double dutch. You kind of put some product out there, see if it catch. If it don't, fall back. You gotta look at the market and see where it's moving and take the opportunity when it presents itself.
Absolutely. I'm gonna credit a good friend of mine that was on the other show the other day. He said sometimes we have too much pride to know when we need to either bail out or we need to pivot. Right. And that's a great testament right there on the aspect of business mindset, understanding when it is your time, when your time is declining, and when is the best move to pivot. But not only that, being prepared beforehand to make that pivot. So
right.
You guys, because your journey is amazing, and you guys are still growing and flourishing. And I mean, we're talking about what? FUBU hotels now, FUBU TV, FUBU radio. All these things are still flourishing, and now even resurging on the clothing brand because, as Don said, the millennial crowds are picking this stuff up and they're running with it.
Right. I think the biggest thing is now is, given the social aspect and the political climate that we in, I think a lot of kids and adults as well, they have a new appreciation for what we were trying to do in the beginning. I mean, FUBU was always about having our own, because we addressed the situation that we thought was real when people talking about they didn't make their clothes for us. We took that personal and we built a company based on that. And I think that now with everything we're going through, the whole last administration and everything that we've gone through, I think that our community has a better appreciation for what we can do on our own. And I think FUBU is a kind of an example of that as far as the energy goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be alive to see the climate that we're in, because things are so different now compared to the 90s, 2000s, especially. And I don't know if it's just the younger generation running through the doors that we all kicked open back in the day and just kind of taking over. But
they're going crazy right now.
You know what? And technology has made it so easy for a lot of these young cats to start up, to make it happen. I mean, you guys had to go. I mean, I'm pretty sure you had to go find a factory. You had to go
everything.
You had to go
on the ground.
on the ground. Now the internet, people just do Google search or do some drop shipping or whatever information at their fingertips.
Right, and that's a good thing. It's great, but I think that what business-minded kids and adults need to know now, you have those opportunities, those options, but don't take for granted the on-the-ground aspect. You know what I mean? Keep your business on the ground. Know who your customer is. Do both. Don't just depend on the internet all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the internet's cool to make a quick buck, but if you really want to sit there and make a lasting brand, you're going to have to put a lot more work than getting some product from China and slapping a logo on it. It's a lot more that has to do. I was wondering if you could share, we talked about the counterfeiting, we talked about the lawsuits. I was wondering if you can share some unexpected things that happened with you when you were in the FUBU brand that you could have never thought of. And how you overcame it, because this is all about business. We're talking about how, I saw curveball. I saw a video in San Francisco where somebody broke into a store and snatched the ATM machine out. You know what I'm saying? You plan for something like
That's what
that.
you gotta do.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So were there any unexpected things that you guys never foresaw, and that you can share with us, and how you kind of overcame with it in business?
Well, I look at it like this: if you stick to anything long enough, you're gonna succeed to a certain level. So our biggest problem was we were so hard on being successful that once we had some level of success, we wasn't prepared for it.
Mm.
You know, we had, like, I don't know if you ever read Damon's books, but we had a situation where we had orders of up to $500,000, and we had no way of creating manufacturing those orders and delivering those orders.
Wow.
So do your hustle, but if you really into your business, whatever it is, and you are really doing what you have to do to succeed, be prepared for the success.
So yeah, you gotta have a plan on how to scale up.
How to scale, right?
When that time comes. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have.
And more importantly, how to manage your money, how to manage your revenue, your income, how to leverage everything that's going on for you to work for you. You know what I mean? And you may not be able to do it yourself, but put people around you that can assist you in the long-term goals.
Okay.
That's what I would advise people to do.
That's all right. We were actually talking about on another show about understanding when it is time to put that trust into other people. Was there a definitive time when the four of you guys got together and you was like, you know, hey, yo, this is moving beyond the capacity of the four of us. We need to scale out. Was there a definitive moment when that happened?
Absolutely. I'll make a quick story. We went to Vegas. We got, like I said, $300,000 in orders. We were hot. There was no internet, so it was word of mouth. We was hot word of mouth. The stores are coming ordering our goods. And once at the end of the day, when we had these orders, we didn't know what to do, how to produce these things. Mm-hmm. So we were lucky enough to eventually partner up with a company that could bring these goods to fruition, get them shipped, which is Samsung America. And but before we took them on as partners, we looked at them as not just what they could do for us as far as the clothing. We looked at everything they had available to us. They had things that we couldn't do. The accounting, the shipping, the holding the lines of credit, the manufacturing, just the relationships with factories overseas. So what you want to do is just make sure that you're in line with people or industries or companies that can really bring your whole vision together.
Did you guys ever have any issues with financing, like going out to get a loan to go get everything out on the streets, or was it kind of like, or was
Damon?
This?
Damon financed. He refinanced his house. His parents left him a house. It was basically paid in full, and we was in the mix of doing this. And he said, you know what? I'm going to refinance this, take a loan out on this house, and put it towards the business. And that gave us the money to kind of not get started, but move to the next level.
Did you guys try to go before bank at all?
No, we went to a bank, but that was as far as having a loan, that was our level of financing. But before we got to the next level, he was in debt. He was about to lose his house because he put it up with his business.
Wow.
And right before he lost the house, we got into a situation with Samsung.
Wow. Everything coming full circle. Everything
came in full circle. But it sounds all sexy now, but when it happened, it was terrible.
Hey, it was a lot of
you got your best friend losing his house, and we got this crazy business, this crazy idea that we started. We was all feeling guilty, but things worked out, but it wasn't as sexy as it sounds.
Well, I always Steve Harvey shot a video a while ago, and I always say it's the best piece of advice and it's very simple. He says you got to jump. You got to if you stay stuck, you got to jump. You got to jump off that cliff, and and you're gonna get banged up and bruised up along the way, and but you got to jump. If you don't jump, you're not going to end up where we
There
got
is
a
no time.
massive international brand that is moving into hospitality, that is in mobile, that is radio, and wherever else you guys are going to take
Yeah,
it.
he's absolutely right. I didn't hear that, but he's absolutely right. We because we didn't win every time. Me and Damon started this business together, just me and him. And we brought on Keith and Jay as things started to progress. But at every step of the way, we failed. We literally had to close the business down for almost a year before Jay got out of the military and was like, "Hey, what y'all do? That's something. You guys got something. Let's start it over again." And he invested his money to get it started again. So there was several times where we had to shut the business down because it just wasn't working at the moment. But anytime an opportunity presented itself, we would take off and try again.
Let's see here. James Thomas had a question for you. He said, if you had 300,000 in orders, are they paid for in advance?
No. Stores don't pay for the orders in advance. What they'll do, they'll give you an order. You'll take that order, and there are institutions that will lend you money based on your orders. But we wasn't prepared to
It's
take
like
that kind of debt on.
a working loan. They're like, it's a bridge loan, basically. That
So there are companies that will take that and factor your orders. But at that point in the game, we wasn't prepared to take that kind of debt. Later on, we started using those companies to do that.
Was it the rates were a little predatory, or it was just too much to bite off to where you guys just didn't want to take that chance?
To be honest with you, at that point, we didn't know better. We just didn't know that those opportunities were available. So we looked at it as, let's go get a what do you call those? Like you said, a predatory loan. We didn't know those things were available at that point.
Gotcha.
Looking in hindsight, now we know that those companies do exist.
Yeah, it's this is part of the grind of learning as you go. You know what I'm saying,
Right.
and trying to make it happen. But you guys bet. I love it when people bet on themselves and win.
Right.
That's
all it was. You gotta be. We weren't no victims. We were little arrogant kids. So we always felt that whatever we do would succeed. If it was from washing windshields on the 59th Street Bridge or collecting junk metal that we used to do, we always felt that we were going to make money. So we wasn't victims. We were just trying to figure and maneuver our way through this industry that we didn't know about.
Was there anything before the clothing line that you guys were going to do before the clothing line, or was that like, we're going to start a clothing line? And
that was the lick. But like I said, me and Damon grew up as literally. I met him as a kindergarten. He was in kindergarten. He was my next door neighbor. So we always growing up was doing little things to make money. I mean, you got to talk to people that know us and kind of give you the whole story. But we did a lot of things. But the clothing part kind of felt right because of the timing, because hip hop was growing. LL Cool J was in our neighborhood. Run DMC was in our neighborhood. Hype Williams. We just had a lot of good examples of that this hip hop thing is working. So we used clothing to insert ourselves into what was already working.
Wow.
Very nice. I want to ask, I saw a post the other day talking about FUBU as a brand expanding. Cryptocurrency, FUBU cryptocurrency. How did that even become a conversation?
I mean, look what's going on. I mean, who carries money right now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the whatever, be it Bitcoin or whatever it may be, the trend is moving towards no money in your pocket.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so at least me as personally, I'm pushing this on my guys. They not always sold in it, but I'm pushing it. But we have to be, not just we as FUBU, but we as Black people, as minorities, have to be on the leading edge of this, because we're going to miss out if we don't be a part of this movement.
Right.
So my goal is to create a cryptocurrency under the FUBU brand that will be trustworthy enough for people to utilize it and invest in it.
Is this going to be just a currency like Bitcoin, or is it going to be on a certain platform, or is it something that like basically you're going to use to buy into any FUBU brand that you could use at any FUBU store?
I think it's all the above. It's really just aligning ourselves up with some reputable platforms and situations that'll make us trustworthy for consumers to use it. So right, like I say, it's an early process, and I'm personally still learning about the entire business, but I know it's all about being having the consumer trust what they have.
Yeah, I missed the Bitcoin thing. I started paying attention to Bitcoin when it was $245, and I was like, damn, it's kind of expensive.
Yeah, listen, I think someone told me about that a lot earlier than that, so I didn't want to talk about it.
I get mad. I try not to think about it because I'm like, damn, I could have retired already. Let alone, when it hit 20 grand the first time, and then let alone if I kept on, it's at 40, almost 50,000, which is like, and it's only running up that much because major institutions, financial institutions, are making plays into it.
Right, they making plays for it, but it's they building up their reputation, and it's trustworthy.
Yeah,
and that's what it's almost like the American dollar. If it wasn't as trustworthy as this, what is it backed on? Nothing.
Nothing.
People just trust it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. We always pay our bills, but so
it's psychological. So my thing is really, like I said, making sure that we align ourselves with a trustworthy platform, and we think our brand is at least enough to get it started, and really build from there.
So what else are you working on? We've got the hospitality aspect, we've got the mobile, we got the cryptocurrency. Is there anything else? I mean, how do you have all this time to sit there, or do you have any time left to do any other ventures? Because it seems like
there's no other time. Right now we're focusing on, like I said, the brand, which is most important, entertainment, television, which is Jay, and music, which is Keith, and I'm just making sure that the brand, which we just relaunched within the last year, if that doesn't work, none of this stuff works. So obviously FUBU Mobile.
I remember when Gabe was talking about FUBU Radio coming out, FUBU Mobile, and I'm like, FUBU's coming back, and all of a sudden I'm just watching the brand grow back into the public mainstream,
right.
And not just because I know Gabe, but just because I'm seeing it on the streets with a lot of millennials that are kind of really hype about a lot of the old gear from back in the day, and it's just like, wow, this brand does have staying power, and it's becoming a premium again.
Right.
Because I think your original clothes are more expensive today.
Yeah.
The joints from back in the day than they were when they first came out, which is like that's.
And I think I think when a lot of kids that met our brand when they were younger, they kind of met it on the down slope. So they kind of saw it maybe in Walmart, they kind of saw it in certain places. But when we first started, our clothing wasn't cheap.
No.
We had $150, $200 sweaters.
I remember looking at clothes.
I tag on one of these, man, and it's like 129 or something.
I remember trying to order clothes from New York because that's where a lot of the labels and a lot of the hot fashion. And I couldn't believe how expensive a lot of the clothes. And I really didn't understand why it was so expensive. But I'm assuming it was because it was done in America in a factory here, and the cost.
No, it's quality. It's really, you gotta look into, if you spend $20 on a sweater, you're gonna get $20 out of it. If you spend $120 out of it, you should get that. You should get that long-lasting quality. And if you look at anybody that bought any authentic FUBU product, it's still around in the same condition as it was when they first bought it.
Right.
So that's what we try to do. We know that things are expensive, but what we try to do is make sure that you get what you paid for.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember back in the early infancy of the websites, the page, and just going and trying to find online, and then calling people and just trying to get some
early days.
The early days, and I just couldn't believe. Like I was like, wow, this is expensive. I didn't know. But you are right, though. You got some brands that they mass produce everything on a cheap basis, and you get a cheap product that
and that's going around a lot these days. You know what I mean? So it's going around a lot. So you got to look at, it may cost less, but it takes a lot less to create.
Wow.
Because it's cheap.
All right.
Wow.
Let me ask you this. What advice would you give someone who is starting up in the fashion industry? Obviously, there are so many pop-up online boutiques and people selling clothes and stuff like that. But for that person that's genuinely interested in becoming a fashion designer, creator, or just a reseller of a brand such as yourself, what kind of advice would you give them getting into the retail segment or the design segment of the fashion industry?
Be humble. You know, the bottom line is be willing to start small. I don't care if it's with one T-shirt. Just make that T-shirt the best quality, the best you can do, and be humble about it because you're not in control. The consumer makes the decision. So what you have available to you now is you have the internet, like you said. You can narrow down who your consumer is, what they're buying, what's trending right now, what's hashtagging. There's a lot of information that you have at your fingertips that we didn't have when we were starting this business.
Did you guys
have? I'm sorry.
Did you guys have any data at all? Like,
nah, I mean we would sell to, let's say, our data honestly was the kids on the street. We go to the clubs. And somebody walks in, yo, you that FUBU guy? Yo, I like that sweatshirt, but the other thing you got is whack. You know what I mean? So they would share the information with you, but we didn't have like no digital on-hand data until we started getting to department stores. And we didn't have it. We listened to department stores to tell us, okay, if you're sitting by Polo, you're gonna do these numbers. If you're doing this, they tell us what you're gonna do based upon their data. But we didn't have our data like as an organization. Wow. So right now, the data that these companies have now available to them is far superior to anything that we've ever had. So use that data, even on a small scale, to start your business, target your consumer, cater to them, and build out from there.
Wow. Gold.
Yeah. That's okay. That's gold, man. Wow. Well, I can't wait to see what FUBU is really going to do in the future. I'm already seeing it with the mobile store in Dallas. I can't wait to hear some of the radio and the TV projects that come out. And you know,
matter of fact, tell everybody to go on to Forest Bias Network. We got Lamar Odom. His new show just launched there on our channel, and we trying to get things going there. But his show just launched there. Willie Williams just shouted it out. So just go on to Forest Bias Network and check that out. There's 4 shows right now.
Is that why he's doing press right now? I've been catching him on.
Yeah, he's doing a little something right now. Yeah,
him and his new fiance. Yeah, they out there.
All right. Well, listen, we want to thank you for hanging out with us, man. This has been just a pleasure, just picking your brain and just kind of getting some insight into your mind of how things were going. I always love to hear these stories of how these brands and how you guys grind and how you make a success, because there are a lot of people out there going through what you guys are going through back in the day, trying to sit there and make something happen, you know. And hindsight is 2020, and it does sound sexy now, but you know, they're going through the same kind of ups and downs.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you so much for sharing a lot of this with us, you know.
And while I'm here, I want to thank FUBU Mobile. A lot of people still don't even know what FUBU Mobile is or where it's at. But people like Gabriel and there's other people out there that's working out for us. But it's more than just a mobile store selling cell phones and service. They're community businesses. These guys are opening these stores and really getting into the community and finding out what the community needs. They're trying to be an asset to wherever they're at. So if you see a FUBU Mobile store, be it Dallas or anywhere else, just go in there and see what we're about, because we're more than just selling cell phones and service. You know, we're really trying to be a positive influence within that particular community.
Is there any thoughts about putting the clothing and the mobile and creating this super FUBU store together? Is that
absolutely? We're talking about that, and we're actually talking about going public. So there's a lot of things we're working on, but like I said, these things have to work hand in hand. You know,
Yeah, well, I get it. It's a slow grind. It's
Right.
it's not
It's a slow grind.
it's a slow. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and just you got to stay in the game. And you know, the biggest the best quote I ever saw is that everything you want is on the other side of consistency. So
That's it. Consistency.
the more
That's it.
consistent you stay, the better things are going to be. And you know, listen, there's going to be a lot of great things for the FUBU brand. I can't wait to experience the Hotel FUBU. Make sure everybody go run over there and then just sign up and definitely check that out. It's hotelfubu.com, and you can just sign up, and once you guys start moving on that, and when everything's open, you
Right.
shoot out an email and let us know, because I would love just to see what the hospitality aspect of that's going to be.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Carl, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man, and blessing us with so much of your time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye. Wow, that was amazing.
Hey, man, told you that man is a wealth of knowledge, man, a jewel.
That was you know, I can't believe he put up money, took out a line of credit out on the house to start a business.
Listen,
and
man,
was losing the house.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things, man. You got to put, when you got a passion, man, you got to put everything in it. You can't leave no stone unturned. You can't let the little things stop you, man. And if you get down on yourself, man, you got to dig in and find that next level of willpower to go ahead and push through to the next level, man. And that's, like I said, man, the FUBU story and everything they've done, they're doing and progressing and doing for them. And it's an amazing story, just a testament to a passion and a dream coming into fruition and being pushed to the max capacity of what it's capable of doing. And we're still seeing what it's doing and what it's capable of every single day now.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're kind of reliving what he was going through, trying to start the brand out here again with the mobile store. And it's like, you know, it ain't a walk in the park down there in Dallas. I mean, come on, you know.
He's having less whiskey drinks than I'm having now. I'm trying to get to him. He's more on the drinking for pleasure and consumption. I need to make it from a day-to-day situation.
Hey, listen. I interviewed Jesse Jackson one day, and Jesse Jackson had this cold line, and he said, "I am now sitting under the shade of the trees that I planted." So he is now sitting under the shade that FUBU provides him at this point in time, and you trying to go to the plant. You know what I'm saying? You like,
man, I'm still looking at these twigs.
Well, listen, we have a doubleheader today later on this afternoon, 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have another whiskey kind of day. We're going to be talking with Takia Brown.
Takia Wallace from Brown Girls New Inc. Oh, it's an amazing not-for-profit business. I love their story. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna go into it. You just gotta tune in and check it out, man, and catch this amazing young lady talk about her story.
So 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 Central, 8 East Coast.
Yeah.
We're gonna be back on here. I'm gonna go get some tequila and get ready for the official happy hour.
Yeah, man, it is cold out here in Dallas, so I am definitely going to have me something to keep me warm. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be coming out of a bottle.
Hey, listen. Hey, please, if you guys are watching this online, if you can share this broadcast, we want to get this out there and come back later on this afternoon. And that is it for a whiskey kind of day for right now. We will see you guys later on around 5 or 7 o'clock. And once again, Carl Brown, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Man, that was an amazing interview.
Absolutely.